clock. Let's start this bad boy. All right, so everybody watching on Zoom and on YouTube Live, welcome to this episode of ABC's Business Marketing Webinar. Yep, sound the alarm, it's starting. So today we are joined by Jacob Wallace, our VP, Amy Stevens, our marketing manager, and we also have two very special guests, rockstar window cleaners and consultants of ours on social media. These guys are awesome. We've got Michael Butler with Window Ninja in Colorado and Kyle Grimes with Clean Habits LLC in Utah. So thank you both for taking time out of your window cleaning day to join us and to help some of these people that we have joining us today on their business marketing side of life. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And first up is going to be Website Basics by Jacob Wallace. Again, he is our VP. We're very proud to have Jacob here today. Thanks, Jacob.
Yeah, thanks for that intro, Hazen. Like you said, my name is Jacob. You might best know me by my parents, Chris and Linda, who started ABC nearly 30 years ago. They started out as janitors and have sort of carried the business to where it is today. I manage our website and marketing, and we're also a small business, a lot like a lot of you watching today. So I also do a little bit of everything. Do you mind taking me to the next slide, Hazen? So in this presentation, we're going to talk about a few basics of your website and what items you should have on your website. But before we get there, I wanted to answer an even more basic question briefly, which is why have a website at all? If some of you don't have a website, I just wanted to cover a few reasons why you might consider it. Number one, it's easy and inexpensive. Now more than ever, there are tools available online that make it very easy to make a site. There's a million tools like Squarespace and Wix out there and free themes for you to use. So it's very easy, even without getting a developer involved, to make a site, and it's very inexpensive. So there's just not much reason not to. It also increases your credibility. Weebly did a recent survey where they actually looked at over 1 million consumers and had them respond. 56% said that they did not trust a business that does not have a website. So you'll definitely boost your credibility by having a website, even if it's very basic. It'll also increase your online visibility. And so, a lot of people will be searching for you online, and they might not be searching on social media or on your Google business page or Home Advisor or Thumbtack or whatever you're using. They might just be searching on Google, and the way that you would pop up is by having a website. And then lastly, it gives you a great way to take control of your online presence. So some of the mediums I mentioned have very limited ways that they'll let you present your site. So like Google business page, it doesn't let you write whatever you want. It only has a few fields for you to be able to fill in. And so it's very rigid about how you can present your business. But on your own website, you can present your business exactly the way that you would like it presented. Next slide, please. So, assuming you're convinced that you should have a website, let's talk about what pages at a minimum that you should have on your site. So number one is you should have a homepage. This is the page people are going to land on as soon as they go to your site. It's where most people are going to get their largest experience about your business. It's the page that people are going to land on from search results on Google and whatnot. So it's kind of your most important page. Secondly, a services page. So for a lot of window cleaners, you do a variety of services. Some companies like to break out commercial versus residential. You might also do pressure washing or soft wash or gutter cleaning or a variety of other services. So this is a place to list all of those services. This can be included just as part of your homepage. If you have more to say than you think fits there, you can have a separate page. And some companies even go as far to have a separate page on their site for each type of service that they offer. You should also have a contact us page. This is extremely common to the point that it's just very odd to land on a website that doesn't have a contact us page. So you should have one there simply because people will expect it, and that's how many of them will want to reach out to you. And then lastly, you need to give some sort of indication of what locations you have if your business has more than one, and what service areas you cover. It's really important, one, so people know if they should reach out to you to request service, and two, for search engine optimization. If people are searching, for example, for a result like best window cleaner in Denver, the fact that on your website you say, I'm a window cleaner who services Denver, means that you could be ranking for that search. And if you didn't list Denver, then Google wouldn't really have a way of knowing that that's an area that you service. Next slide, please. All right, so let's drill down and talk about your homepage, since, as I mentioned, it is your most important page. Number one, and this is where a lot of people can stumble, is you don't have to go crazy with your homepage. Keep it simple. Unless you have a really good reason to make things more complex or to add more elements, it's almost always best to keep things simple. And you can see an example here of a website that did not keep it simple. They have so much content on this page. You have to scroll vertically and horizontally to see it. It's just a mess. Next slide, please. The next thing you should include on your homepage is a clear call to action. So the first step in a call to action is simply to think through, what is it that you want visitors to do once they land on your web page? For most window cleaners, the thing that you want people to do is to reach out to you to schedule an estimate or to schedule a service. So whatever it is that you think through and decide that's what I want visitors to do, you want to give them a really obvious way to do it. This is an example, not of a window cleaning company, but of a painting company called 5 Star Painting. And you can see just on the top part of their homepage, they have 3 ways to get you to reach out. And if you continued scrolling down on this web page, you'd see that they every so often as you scrolled down, they had more ways for you to reach out. So they include a phone number, a bold button, a spot for you to put your zip code and see if they service you. So don't hide this. This is the main thing you want people to be doing on your website. Make it obvious. Next slide, please. Amy is going to be speaking in a few minutes about value propositions. So I won't dive into that other than to say you should make it clear and obvious on your homepage what it is that's setting your business apart. This is an example from a really fantastic window cleaning company in New York called Upgrade Services. They have a really nice looking website, as you can see, with some really cool photography. But the thing I wanted to highlight is in the blue section near the bottom, where you see their mission. They very briefly and simply highlight some things that make their company special, such as the fact that they have combined 100 years of experience. So this kind of goes back to the first tip, which was keep things simple. You don't need to have a huge elaborate statement here, but make it obvious what it is that's making your company special. Next slide, please. The next thing to consider including, if you have them, is some sort of social proof and badges if they're applicable. So social proof is just some sort of user-generated way of saying people have used our company and they liked it. So that usually translates to online reviews. So you can see this is an example from Lighthouse Window Cleaning in Colorado. And they have this box about midway down their homepage on the right that includes their Google reviews, Yelp reviews, and their Better Business Bureau rating. So people just trust a business more when they see positive reviews, and many people will research you prior to reaching out to you by looking for online reviews. So it's good to just include those up front. And then you can also see they have a badge from Thumbtack showing that they were a top pro on Thumbtack. So whatever badges you might have that you think are applicable, Home Advisor, Angie's List, Thumbtack, some sort of local award you have from your city, whatever those might be, consider including them. But make sure whatever you're including is actually relevant to your business and something your customer might care about. So don't just stick a badge there just because you think you should have some badges. Next slide, please. And then the next point is about industry participation. So this is similar to badges. It's a good idea if you are participating in industry associations or your local chamber of commerce or whatnot to include proof of that. So this is an example from Larry's Window Cleaning. And you can see they have this bar where they tell you about some things they're involved with, including BOMA and the IWCA. So this just helps build trust that you are involved in your industry and you care about your industry. And as a bonus, it actually can help your SEO. So in the case of Larry's here, each of these badges or logos is a link to that thing. So if you clicked on the BOMA, it would take you to BOMA's website. And having links from your website that go out to other authoritative websites helps your SEO. So that's just a nice bonus to doing that. And next slide. So we kind of covered a few basics of what pages you should have on your website, why you should have a website at all, and elements to include on your homepage. So that's just kind of a kicking off point, and obviously a lot more that we could talk about, but we will also be continuing this discussion in a Q&A at the end. So that kind of concludes my part, and thank you all for watching.
All right, thank you so much, Jacob. Really good information there. In case you guys didn't know, Jacob is pretty much the sole reason that ABC has continued to absolutely increase in efficiency, accuracy, and keeping up with technology. So thank you so much, Jacob. We appreciate you. You are the man. All right, so now let's go on to a much lesser person, myself. I'm Hazen Warlick. If you haven't met me, I've been with ABC for just about the last 6 years now. I started in our Charlotte, North Carolina warehouse, and I've moved on from that to sales to now I do quite a bit of traveling pre-COVID anyway. For the company, I do lots of conventions, trade shows, education and training events all over the country. So my sales experience has pretty much solely been with ABC, and I have really had to figure out a lot of this for myself. But with the help of our marketing team and with our administrative staff, I think I have a pretty good grounding on where I'm at, and I'm very comfortable with that. So let's go ahead and dig in and talk first about sales, marketing, and service. So back in the day, you know, as in not today, not current times, marketing and sales were kind of thought of this funnel where marketing sets it up, sales gets it done, and customers were thought of as kind of an afterthought. Sales guys have the frontline experience. I'm the one in the trenches meeting these window cleaners, either at their business, out in the field, or at conventions or trade shows. So I've got all this information, but until I can take it to somebody or consult with someone like our marketing manager, Amy Stevens, who you're going to hear from in a few minutes, she's the one that's got these tools and this knowledge that's going to let us have a strategy and gain a competitive advantage. So instead of having marketing do all of this top funnel work, sales be the next tier, and customers being an afterthought, you want to make sales, marketing, and service all inclusive. Everyone should know what everybody's doing. All these segments within your company really need to be working together as a seamless and inclusive unit. So for service, you're really wanting to have a real value. So if your service isn't as up to par as your marketing is, or as your sales team is, that's not a good thing. You want all of these to be really, really strong, and you want to have open lines of communication. So let's keep going on here with developing buyer personas together. So at some point, and I remember the day that Amy and I, it was actually more than one day, it was probably more like a week, we sat down and we developed these buyer personas. And she asked me, who are your customers? And what challenges do they face? What are their problems and pain points? And how exactly are they making decisions? Are they going to one resource? Are they using different ways of communicating? You really have to figure this out and kind of develop these personas of these different types of customers so that you can really boil it down and get scientific with how you're reaching out to them and how you're getting their business and keeping that business. So all these buyer personas add up to is just making a really, really strategic point for you to just keep going and moving on in your business and improving. So next, understanding your customer as a salesperson is absolutely paramount. You need to know who you need to talk to. It's not always going to be either the building manager or the property manager, the homeowner, whoever it is. There's different types of clients that you're going to be interacting with, and you need to know who to go after specifically and kind of how to find that information out. Once you know who to go after, you need to figure out how they like to communicate. Is it something that they like to do on the phone, over online, or maybe even in person? So once you figure out that, you really have to understand that you have to be a valuable service. You can't just be another window cleaning company, another building maintenance or building service company. You have to be different, and you kind of have to spell that out to them and make them realize that you are valuable, and this is why you are really valuable. And that has to be the truth. You can't just overpromise and underdeliver on that. If you're going to give value to this customer, it needs to be exactly what you say it is. And from this understanding of the customer, again, you're going to be able to create tailored strategies that can target the customers that you're looking to get and to keep. And then next up is feedback. So feedback on all of these marketing efforts that ABC does, that your business may do, is really, really essential. You want to keep track of that as well as you possibly can. If you can have some kind of an automated way to keep track of it, that is great. You can come back and look at it later, but mainly you want to just keep track of the data, analyze it in detail, bounce this off of your sales team, your marketing team, even your service team, customer service. Everybody needs to be on the same page, and then take this information and what you've learned from it and tweak it a little bit, and then come back, make your changes, and rinse and repeat. The cycle continues, you get better and better. Now, the one thing that I've definitely been guilty of in the past, and that you might have an easy time falling into the trap of, is communication breakdown. There will be a couple weeks where I don't talk to marketing, or my marketing doesn't talk to me or another branch of the company, and we lose that line of communication, and things break down, mistakes get made, bad things happen. So really focus on having a schedule where you're set up that you're speaking to everybody that you need to speak with, whether that's like in a webinar thing like we're doing, a hangout, an email, or a phone call. Make sure the lines of communication are not broken. And then we have creating relevant content together. So from a marketing standpoint, they have one perspective. From a sales standpoint, I have another perspective. If we bring these two together, it really, really makes it something even more incredible than the sum of its parts combined. So you have to consider exactly what your customers are looking for. Are they looking for the best value out there? Are they looking for the cheapest price? Or are they looking for somebody that's going to show up as soon as they really need them? Because we all know that this work isn't call up your window cleaner and get your windows cleaned the next day. Sometimes it is, usually it's not. Then you have to consider, what are the best ways to present this value out there? Are you going to use your own website, social media, print media like flyers or door hangers? Now for social media, which we are going to be talking about later with our two special guest window cleaning companies, the biggest ones out there are going to be Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Now, all of these are really good. I favor one over the other two. I like LinkedIn just because it kind of suits my needs and my style, but try to concentrate on one of these first and don't spread yourself out too thin. See the one that makes the most sense and really fits your company's style the best. So don't try to take on a Facebook and Instagram and a LinkedIn all at once. That is a ton of work, and to do it right, it's really, really difficult. Maybe once you master one, move on and grow, but I would not recommend hitting that all together. So create some relevant content that your sales team and your marketing team both agree this is what people want to know and want to see. So that was a little bit about what I have to say about the relationship between sales and marketing and kind of what I've done and how I've learned these things. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll be happy to take it away. All right, so if nobody has anything, we will keep rolling along here, and I'll go ahead and introduce Amy Stevens. So Amy is our marketing manager. She's been with us for a number of years. I'm pretty sure she's been with ABC longer than I have. And she does a great job for us. She runs our social media accounts. She does all kinds of data tracking and analytics, and she is definitely the guru when it comes to marketing. So Amy, I'll let you take it away.
Thanks, Hazen, and thanks everyone for joining us. Happy Juneteenth. I've been with ABC Marketing Department for some time now. I'll be talking about target markets, customer pain points, and how to use that information in a marketing strategy. Next slide, please. To begin, a target market is a group of customers characterized by behavior and specific demographics, according to HubSpot. Target markets can be defined as broadly or as specific as you choose. So, for example, your target market could be residential, just in general. It could be residential with solar panels, slightly more specific, or it could be as specific as reoccurring corporate office buildings with 20 or more stories and anchors for cleaning. The point is to be able to identify customers by shared characteristics that are related to your business. And when we do this, you're able to not only see how they relate to your business, but you're also able to denote some other things. And of course, it's worth mentioning, target markets are not to be used to categorize or organize people as human beings, but instead how they as customers relate to your business. When you are able to do this, you're also able to denote other things like I had mentioned. Next slide, please. So you are able to identify customer pain points when you're able to identify target markets. This helps you not only target them, but also address them. So an example of customer pain point might be something like, I don't like waiting around for contractors to show up, or I don't like having multiple contractors for multiple services. When we're able to identify customer pain points, we're able to address them. So next, we'll figure out what to do with this information. One way to address these pain points is to acknowledge them in your value proposition. Next slide, please. Like Jacob had mentioned, a value proposition isn't just a product or service you deliver, it's the ingredient of your business that makes you unique from other businesses, in this case, window cleaning businesses. A value proposition can be as extensive or as concise as you decide, but of course, concise is easily consumed and understood. In the next slide, I'll give some examples of value propositions from well-known companies. Next slide, please. Pandora, for example, their value proposition is listen anytime, anywhere. It addresses the pain point of music accessibility. Spotify, on the other hand, which was created after Pandora, is music for everyone. So Spotify no longer felt the need to address the how of the equation, how you're going to get the music. Instead, they addressed the what and the who of the music streaming industry. Another example is Uber, so tap the app to ride. Again, it addresses how the industry works. Lyft, which was later developed, is ride in minutes. This addresses the specific pain point created in this new market, but it doesn't address how the market works in and of itself. You can find a lot of information about value propositions, and I encourage everyone to look on the internet for more examples and to really create your own that fits your business well. Next slide, please. The second thing you want to do with an identified target market and its collective pain points is to create a marketing flywheel around it. This is an example of a very broad flywheel. So think of a flywheel as essentially a marketing plan that continues to reinforce itself. Next slide, please. This slide breaks it down slightly more. So the first step is to put in the work. It's an active step. It's whatever you realize is the thing that you want to work on. The next step is improved results of whatever you did the work on in the first step, and it's a passive step. So there's no actual work that needs to be done. Once you've already done the work, you just get improved results. The third step is to create a marketing effort to highlight the now improved results from the first and second step. This is, of course, an active step. The fourth step is to amplify your marketing efforts. This can be active or passive depending on which route you go. And the fifth step is to attract a new audience. This is a passive step. So in the next slide, I'll show you a specific example of how a marketing wheel might look with an identified target market and specific pain points. Next slide, please. All right, so let's say you've identified your target market as a 4-story apartment building owner. This works for the supplies that you have. This works for your business model. This works for everything. So that is your target market now. The first step is to identify their pain points by asking, reading their reviews, engaging in conversation on the job through email, whatever works for your business and the allotted amount of time that you have to work on these things. Just kind of get to know your customers, and that's how you're going to figure out their pain points. In this case, let's say the pain point identified and that we're going to focus on, because usually, side note, there are multiple pain points. So you have to pick one that suits most of your target market. In this case, let's say they struggle to easily set up appointments, for example. So that is the first step, is figuring out the pain point. The second step is improved results, and it's passive because once we create a marketing effort around it, the ease of customers is going to be a passive step. We don't have to do anything to ease it for customers. So the next step is creating a marketing effort around steps 1 and 2. In this case, we'll be adding an appointment scheduling option on our website, similar to the painting website that Jacob showed in his presentation. The next step after that is to amplify. In this case, we'll ask customers who have used the new scheduling option to leave a review. This is actually a passive step because we haven't done anything, and it's actually a very cheap step as well, but it shows other customers through social proof what you're trying to get across, that scheduling is easier than ever. Lastly, all these efforts will culminate to attract a new audience, and so on the marketing wheel goes. To keep the wheel going, for instance, we'd continue to identify pain points of our new customers that we've attracted and to create marketing to address them. Next step, please, or next slide, please. In conclusion, marketing can be timely and expensive. Instead, intentional and focused efforts with your marketing, sectioning your clients and potential clients into target markets, identifying their pain points, and using that information to create marketing and solutions will set your business apart from your competition and does not have to cost an arm and a leg. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Amy. Appreciate you giving us a little bit of insight into your world. If anybody has any questions, feel free to shoot them in the webinar chat and we'll do our best to answer. But until we see another question come in, I'll keep moving along. So next up, we've got the one and only Kyle Grimes. So Kyle, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself. All right. And if you don't know Kyle, again, Kyle is the owner of Clean Habits LLC in Utah. This guy is an absolute Instagram stud. He's got an awesome business and an even more awesome beard. We're really excited to hear what you have to say today, Kyle. Welcome aboard, and I'll let you take it from here.
Perfect. Well, just surprise everyone. I can take a look at the slide here too. All right. Yeah, I'm going vertical instead of horizontal because you got to fit the beard in. It's these dynamics that if you're not used to it, changes everything. So just talking a little bit about marketing today. There's actually going to be a blog post going live soon. It'll explain this probably a lot better than my rambling and bumbling on is going to go. But for me, what I've enjoyed kind of about the marketing style, I'm sitting here taking notes, learning all these great things, but the way I've kind of done it and the way when people ask me, I give them ideas. It's very, very simple and super basic. I call it kind of like an old school or traditional method to marketing. For me, I like to look at marketing as how I want to receive the marketing. When I started this company just over 3 years ago, up here in Salt Lake City, Utah, I wanted to figure out what I could do to kind of carve out my niche in the industry. And for me, I just figured just the way I deliver the experience, I want it to be different than what people might expect. I don't want to be looked at as, you know, just some kid washing windows in the summer. It's what I do for a living year round. And so for me, I want it to be more of like an educational means, providing service and then educating the consumer base on, you know, why I'm doing things, or tips and pointers here and there. And so again, that's kind of the basis. I like to receive it that way. I don't want to be forced to receive marketing in a way that I don't prefer. And I know there's probably a couple people that would prefer the same. So with that, when I'm giving my services, whether it's window cleaning, screen cleaning, hard water, screen repairs, I like to just point out little things to the customers. I want them to understand, you know, this is why I'm going to do this step. This is why I'm not going to skip out on your hard water. This is why I want to treat these things and address them and show them the longevity to the surface of the glass. You know, if you take care of the hard water, you're going to get rid of the oxidization. You're going to get rid of the white marks, so it's going to look better. And that's kind of a win-win, because as an owner operator, I don't want someone to be like, oh, hey, clean your windows, clean habits, he did great. They go wash their hand, or they go grab a drink of water and they see that one window that's dirty. And so again, like, part of my marketing is the way I deliver, and pointing out to customers, you know, if there's, you know, if you get something on your window, this is how you want to clean it. Stay away from your Windexes and some of these generic cleaners, and find something a little bit more glass specific and target it head on, or use a magic eraser, and just want to get them on the same team. I want clients long term. I don't want just one-off customers. And with that, I've been able to connect personally with most of my customers and turn them into a long-term relationship. And for me, I mean, yeah, I post up the social media stuff. I know we joked about it when I was able to go out and visit with you in Colorado with ABC a few months ago. I felt weird doing it at first. It just felt weird to post videos of washing windows, but it's been cool to see the response from customers and even friends and people just saying, like, wow, I didn't know you can make such a difference cleaning windows. You know, I didn't realize that. I have friends that just watch it because they say, like, the intrinsic value, and it's fascinating just to watch. And so I like just connecting with people and letting them realize, like, hey, I'm just a dude. I've got like this insane beard, and I've got kind of a weird approach to how I do things, but I love what I do, and I try to make my passion connect me and my clients and get on the same team. And with that, as I grow my team, it's just been incredible. I call my team my clients, and I don't do a lot of like the marketing methods that we've spoke about so far on this webinar, but for me, it's worked well. I've been fortunate to stay really busy through creating the relationships, through delivering, and through challenging people. And for me, the more people that you service is the bigger your sales team gets, or your bigger your marketing and advertisement gets, because we should be delivering in a way that people are either going to share about it or people are going to recognize. And so from there, I talk to all my clients and find out, you know, if they're business owners, or what they do for work, or what do you guys enjoy to do on the weekend if you're not busy, and find out where they're at, where they frequent, and find out, you know, a lot of my residential customers turned out to be commercial clients as well, because they own a business or they own a school. And so just trying to dig in and make that connection and see not just where they can add value. Obviously, to the bottom line is great to help me provide for my company, for my family. But if I'm taking care of them somewhere and they appreciate it, I want to see where else I can benefit them and take kind of that workload off of their schedule. And so it's just the conversation piece. Again, getting to know people, being personal with them, letting them realize you're a human, and then sharing those little tips and tricks. And then as I've been able to connect those dots, it's just turned into what the blog actually that I wrote up is horizontal marketing, and just networking with people. And from there, I actually took it another step. And it's probably been about 2 years ago. There was a local networking group where everyone would get together and they would bounce ideas and bounce referrals back and forth. And for me at the time, it wasn't a good fit, but I found someone in an industry. For me, it was actually a landscape company. And Sal, he's a champion. Fortunately, he and I established a great connection. And what I was able to work with him is, if I have a client that has hard water issues, I talk to him about their sprinklers. If they don't have a sprinkler guy or a landscape guy, I would cross-reference Sal. And then vice versa, when he had issues with his clients, he'd do the same. And I've taken that that concept of teaming up with other business owners and turn that into a pretty strong referral network, even including other window cleaners. And so there's no right or wrong way, I think, for the marketing, but for me, it's just that personal touch and trying to figure out what thing that you can do, and try to capture an idea or two that you think are going to work and run with it. Fortunately for me, it's worked. I had someone challenge me the other day, like it's a local window cleaner that I run into his signs all over the place. And I actually met him because I fixed one of the signs that was in my neighborhood. And he asked me the other day, he goes, man, he goes, how do all these window cleaners follow you on Instagram? And I told him, that I don't have the slightest clue. I don't have any idea why. ABC was like, hey, this crazy dude, yeah, let's talk to him. Let's see what we can do together. But I love it. And I think part of it, again, is just like a ridiculous passion for what I do. And I don't have that professional touch. Michael, it's going to be talking here in a minute. Dude's fascinating. Like, I see his videos. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm just going to delete Instagram, social media. Can't compete. He's a killer. He's one of my absolute favorite cleaners to watch, and just people to talk to, and super motivating. But again, it's just finding that personal touch and figuring out this is my perspective, this is my view, and just running with it and owning it. And for me, that's where I feel like I've been able to learn how to create value. And there's many other ways, but that's kind of my line where I'm running with it and trying to see where it can take me. And it's exciting. A bunch of rambling. I'm sorry, guys, but that's kind of where I'm at for now.
Okay, so I've got a few screen grabs here from Kyle's business. Here's one of the signs he was talking about out there. Some
marketing flags.
Yeah.
Hey, side note, any industry, it doesn't matter what you guys are doing. I mean, obviously, if you can afford like wrapping your vehicle or doing some big graphics on the car, that's great. I've gotten more work off of this like $200 sign. It's like an 8-foot tall teardrop flag. I've got more work either from people driving by, taking pictures, and conversations with that. So that's another little plug I realized I didn't even talk about. But if anybody is looking for a way to like seriously grab attention and increase workload and your image and reputation, that flag does incredible things for business.
Absolutely. I've never seen anybody else using those for window cleaning companies. That's pretty unique.
We need to make it happen for everyone.
Oh, and if you don't mind, if I could hop in real fast for something. I think a lot of times marketing professionals can make marketing seem unapproachable. So like we have a lot of big words that get thrown around, like marketing personas that Hazen talked about in his presentation, or marketing flywheels that Amy talked about, or outbound links for SEO that I talked about. In reality, I think Kyle does most of those things, and he does them really, really well. So like, for example, Kyle was talking about how he talks to his customers to learn more about what their needs are and how he can better service them. He's doing exactly the work that we talked about in our earlier presentations. So don't let marketing seem like something unapproachable to you because some of the words seem strange. Kyle is absolutely killing it online despite his self-deprecation about his Instagram account.
Yeah, amen.
Don't let any of this stuff intimidate you. He's doing a great job, and you absolutely can do a great job with your website as well with your current level of understanding. Don't let anybody make you think anything different about that.
Yeah, and before we go on, I've got a question in from John for you, Kyle. Do you recommend door hangers over yard signs when first starting out to get new clients?
So here's my thing. I get people that blast me either in comment section or in my DMs, and they'll ask me whether it's about marketing or this same question I've got in the past, or even equipment. My opinion, do what you think is going to work, but you can't have too many weapons. And the more weapons you have, the more frequently you're going to win. And so, did you say it was John?
Yes.
John, my recommendation is, man, like do both. Do one, do the other, see which one works better, track them out, or see which one you just like to do more. If you don't like doing one, maybe don't do it and try something different. But again, don't necessarily look at it as how I'm doing it, how someone's doing it, how, you know, media around the country and how you see things. Just, man, like how would you want to market yourself if you were trying to receive what you do? And this is proof too, like somehow I've been blessed to be doing pretty well in window cleaning, and I'm just some guy. But yeah, man, just take your approach. Don't overcomplicate it. Like nothing that we do is difficult unless we make it. Other than like, you know, some crazy window to get to. But ultimately, when it comes to marketing, just, man, like just do whatever you feel is going to be beneficial. And it can start small. It can start with, just buying like a printer for $50 at the local convenience store, like a Walmart or something, and printing even like a low end flyer and just see what your return is. And then you can go to like a print shop and get a manufactured card or flyer or door hanger, and then see, if you want to track the difference between like a lower budget or a bigger budget. But just look at these other things. Like, don't worry about there's some box that someone drew. And my box is huge because I don't want a box. I want to do things my own way. And that'd be my recommendation. That was very long-winded and kind of twisted path, so I apologize, but definitely try both. Try one versus the other and just see what your results are, and play with it. Figure out what works for you.
Very cool. And as you can see here, this is a picture of the speaker you just heard, Kyle, in the middle. Michael Butler, who I'm about to introduce, is on the right, and on the left we've got Blue with Bulldog winning in North Carolina. So
shout out to Blue.
Those are three of our social influencers, great guys, as you can see, absolute stud muffins. So here's one more little snippet of Clean Habits Instagram, so you guys can check that out. But yeah, absolutely super strong page. And he's probably the most humble guy in the world saying what he said. So thank you so much, Kyle, for your time and all your helpful information. We really appreciate that. If anybody's got any other questions for Kyle, send them in and we'll take care of them. All right, so let me see here. Let's see here. So Amy, it looks like you had a question for Kyle. Or never mind. Okay, so let's keep going on here. All right. I'm now going to introduce Michael Butler. So Michael is about to join you right now, and he is with Window Ninja of Colorado, and he is just as much of an absolute performer on Instagram. These guys put out some amazing content. It's really easy to see that. If you haven't followed both of them, be sure to go and do that. When you leave, if you do have an Instagram account, Facebook, all that good stuff. But Michael and Kyle both came on with us, I think just about at the same time. Excellent guy. I could not more highly speak of either Michael or Kyle, but I'll go ahead and let Michael take it away from here.
Hey guys, I hope everybody's doing good. Thank you, Hazen, for leading me in and your nice words. And Kyle, my boy, I love you, dude, and I love watching your content. You're one of my favorite people to follow, and I love the things you talk about. I love the way you express yourself, and the topics that you bring up. I definitely want to bring up that solid point of Hazen kind of leaning toward encouraging you to lean toward a niche when it comes to what platform you want to work with, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it may be. I chose Instagram. It kind of fell into that mostly. I think because it was the most fun for me. I had fun taking pictures and making little videos and edits and things like that. And over time, it developed into me spending more and more time on those videos and editing those photos, and it's all in fun, really. When I'm finished at home working and making these videos, it's not work. I enjoy it. It's kind of my release for those few minutes while I'm working on it. But I definitely did want to express how it can be very beneficial to pick your niche and dive into it, whether you want it to be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I think those are three very solid ones to get started with, as they're pretty easy. You don't have to spend money or anything like that. You can be a little more broad and start working toward one or the other. After you've mastered one, such as Instagram, you might want to move toward Facebook, since they're directly connected and you can swap content from one to the other. We do, for our Instagram, we do like to inform and educate other window cleaners and engage with other window cleaners. But today I wanted to bring up 3 main points, which are branding, supporting your local community, and gaining followers, of course. So with the branding, it's basically your business having its own personality and you expressing your business's personality, such as the things you like to do, the ways you like to communicate, your techniques, the tools you like to use, and you're basically showing off and expressing who you are as a business. I personally eventually want to move out of the light of the business and give the light to the employees and feature the employees and how they're learning and progressing and things like that. But I definitely want to press how important it is to brand your business and give it personality, give it light, and give people things to talk about when it comes to your business. The second point was supporting local. This is one of my favorite things to do. I kind of accidentally stumbled into it. I filmed myself cleaning a building, and I posted it on Instagram, and it I had been to the place, I'd been to the restaurant, I'd eaten their food. So I talked about the things I liked about the business. I talked about how I like to do these specific windows. I talked about how nice the building looked and the art on the walls. And I threw in a bunch of local hashtags and things like that to connect me to more of the local scene. But by me expressing what I liked about that business and posting about it, all of their followers, after tagging them on Instagram and talking about them, all of their followers supported me and they started following me. And it also gives people who have never been there insight to the restaurant or the business. And then I have them asking me questions, and it turns into free marketing for the business that I'm working with, which they love, of course. You know, they get free marketing. I'm going to send them a couple of customers or something like that, maybe more than a couple. And then I also get the marketing myself. I get to see all of their businesses that follow them will follow me, and their customers that love them will start to see what I do, or maybe be interested in one of the videos that might seem satisfying, if you will. But it also gives their surrounding businesses the opportunity to see what I do as well. One other part of the supporting local would be basically one of my favorite things to do is talk to people about my Instagram. When I'm off of work, I'll go into businesses, or when I'm in the grocery store or something like that. And if I see somebody that seems like they might be interested, I'll say, "Hey, do you have an Instagram? Would you follow us?" And then I hand them one of my business cards. I don't know if Hazen can bring it up on the screen for you, but I have a little Instagram handle on the back of my card here. It's just windowninja.co, and I hand these out when I'm doing my canvassing. I canvas. I like to go in and out to all the local businesses. I don't do storefronts, but I don't do residential canvassing. I just don't want to have some old guy taking 20 minutes to come to the door just to tell me no, and then I inconvenience him by having to walk so far, and he doesn't need to be doing all that. So I do like to go into the local businesses with my card, and I express myself. I say, "I'm a local window cleaner. This is what I do. This is how we do it. And here's a card for you with some prices on it. In case you're ever interested, give me a call. If you'd like to see some of our work, we have a couple of handles here. You can find us at our website. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Google, and you can kind of see a little bit of the work that we do, the videos that we like to make, and some of our technique and style." So later on, I've had people call me back months later, maybe even a year or so later, and say, hey, we have your card here, and we'd like for you to come by and do our windows. And by that point, they will have already been on our Instagram and or our Facebook and saw a little bit about what we do. They can see my face and feel a little bit more comfortable with seeing us out there. And by building this brand through Instagram and having so many people see me that have never dealt with me before, they've never called me to have their windows cleaned or anything like that. When I do eventually come around to them and pitch my business to them, pitch my services, or if they give me a call or somebody asks, hey, do you know a good window cleaner? Their friends may follow me and say, hey, we follow Window Ninja. He's got some awesome videos. He's a very good window cleaner. I'd recommend him. And then when I go out to see them, they will have already seen a little bit of the things that we do and some of our content that we provide. And so that's kind of the supporting local side of things. And then I kind of wanted to finish off with the gaining followers. Gaining followers on Instagram, if you have the content, then the rest is pretty easy. The content is basically, you just need to post up some pictures that you think are fun or that you think are nice, and put. I often like to put positive quotes or things that have been on my mind about being progressive and things like that. Or I'll post tools with tool reviews, or just a nice photo and just a little something nice that I was thinking of that day. I think it's very good to post daily stories, just a few stories, maybe one or two or a handful or a dozen, whatever you feel is within your capabilities. But they can be something as simple as you running the squeegee across the window for 3 seconds kind of thing. But if you post it, then people feel more connected. They feel more connected knowing that that's what you're doing right now, in comparison to what they're doing sitting there. They're looking at their screen or whatever it is that they're doing, and they know that you're out there right now doing this. And I think a lot of people can connect with that a little bit better. One other thing I think is important is posting steady content. I had a pretty good habit of posting something solid every day, a nice photo or a nice video. Sometimes I go a little bit heavier, sometimes I go a little bit lighter, but I do think it's good to find a good amount to post, maybe one picture or one video a day. If you have the means to do more, then that might be nice, but you also don't want to overfill, start flooding other people's feed with your content. So it may be good to just do a couple a day kind of thing, or a couple a week, or a few a week. But it is good to keep it steady. That's one thing that I feel like I could do better at, is keeping it steady. I go a few days without posting anything sometimes, and other times I'll post something every day. So I definitely, for myself, I know I want to be more steady with it overall. The other thing would be hashtags. As you may have seen on the screen a moment ago, I had a bunch of hashtags underneath the video, and those hashtags are, there you go. Those hashtags are relative toward the things that are interesting toward me, and aiming toward the people that might find me interesting. So oftentimes I'll put up Colorado Springs. You can see it. It's the third one over there. It's hashtag Colorado Springs. I have commercial window cleaning and Colorado Springs local businesses, Colorado Springs entrepreneurs. I'll put Larkspur, Colorado, Peyton, Colorado, Manitou Springs, Colorado, and so on and so forth, so that when people are looking at the hashtags in their area or the hashtags that they like to look at, then I'll pop up in there, and they may see my photo or my video and think it's interesting and want to follow me, or maybe they need their windows cleaned, or they know somebody that does need their windows cleaned, or at least it puts me in front of them for that split second, so that when I come up in front of them later on down the line, they'll think of me a little bit more that time. And one of the most important part of gaining followers, I believe, so you have all the hashtags and everything, you're posting steady content, you post a story every once in a while, but the most important thing to gaining followers and getting that your brand recognized by the people you want to recognize it is engage. Straight up, just talk to people. If you see a photo that you like, say, hey, I like this photo. You know, a lot of people like, if they see something they like, they'll post a little fire emoji, or they'll put a little thumbs up or something. But those little things go a long way, and people really appreciate it. I kind of do a little thing. You might call it cheating a little bit, but I'll go into hashtags that I like, or niche hashtags that I think are kind of follow my industry. So, for example, typing in hashtag window cleaning in the search bar, and then you go into those hashtags, you'll have two sections. One of them is top rated posts for that hashtag, and the other hashtag is most recent hashtags. So I don't go into the top rated just because they're so saturated, but if you go into the most recent hashtags and just start scrolling through it, and when you see photos, like that photo, leave a comment here and there. If you see somebody that's got some real great content, go ahead and follow them, you know, and let them know, hey, I like what you're doing. I think that's awesome. And then they'll follow you back, and then maybe some of their followers will see you and see your comment or something like that. They may like your photo and come check you out. So definitely engaging and talking to people, networking in that aspect is one of the most important things for me, I think personally. Now, overall, I don't think you can go wrong with Instagram. It's free marketing, basically. It's free expression of your brand, and you really get to show off. You get to really show off who you are, what you do, what you like, how you conduct your things. You could just post tool reviews all the time, and you'll have people following you and people that are interested. But you can also just broaden it and talk about tool reviews. You can talk about the house that you did that day. You could talk about your favorite house that you did last year. You could talk about what's coming up next. You can talk about what your new systems you're working on. You can talk about all kinds of things, and it really connects you. And I think the more you're connected with your community, the more you're going to get seen, and the more people are going to understand who you are, what you like, what you do, and feel more comfortable with hiring you and taking you on. So I don't get very many inquiries on Instagram about cleaning windows. I might get maybe one or two a week of somebody saying, hey, can you come give me a quote, or come clean my windows, or something like that. But the biggest benefit out of it is people seeing me before I contact them. So if I go through and follow every single business in my area, then they have seen me. They've seen that, oh, Window Ninja started following me, and it may not be that big of a deal to them. But when I come by and I stop into the shop the next time and I say, hey guys, I'm here with Window Ninja. I just wanted to let you guys know I'm around in case you need me. Here's a card, this and that. Then they're like, oh, we saw you on Instagram, blah, blah, blah. When can you get started? You know, I think it goes a long way when you're making those first encounters, because it's really not your first encounter. They've already seen me. They've already got an idea of who I am and what we do and how we do it. I'm Michael with Window Ninja. You can find us, our Instagram handle is @windowninja.co. We do have a website. We do have Facebook. And we do have Google, and I would suggest you guys go check those out, take a look at all those, and feel free to ask me any questions that you'd like. Shoot me anything, really. If you have questions about marketing, tools that I'm using, Facebook, Instagram, any of that stuff, please let me know. I'll definitely get back to you. It may not be right away, but I'll get back to you within that 24-hour time period, and give you the information to the best of my ability. I'm still a new window cleaner. I've been cleaning windows for a few years, but I've only been running a business we just started our 3rd year, and that's the real challenge. The real adventure is the business side of it, for sure. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys at ABC having me out to do the webinar with you guys, and to talk about this stuff. It's fun to me. You know, Instagram's fun, and that's why I initially went that direction. It's fun, and because it's fun, it's easy to me, and I really enjoy doing it. Sometimes I spend a little too much time on videos, but I think it balances out in the end ultimately. But yeah, I appreciate you guys having me out. I love working with Kyle, and I hope we can work some jobs here pretty soon. And every time I see you guys over at ABC, you're always awesome. You always have some really great things to say, and you're always really positive and always moving forward. And I really appreciate that of you guys.
Thank you, Michael. We appreciate you. And as you guys can tell, another awesome marketer who's got it all figured out and just so humble. All these tips that Kyle and Michael have been spitting off to somebody like me, maybe like, oh, it's just everybody knows that, right? No, these are really, really awesome things to pick up on. So thank you all for everything you've put into this webinar. And now we're going to open up the floor for some questions. So if everybody wants to go ahead and unmute yourself, we can kind of tag team this if you'd like. But if anybody has any live questions, feel free to chat in, and we'll be happy to answer. And I know that Kyle actually has probably the best hashtag in the window cleaning industry. And did you make this up, Kyle, or is this something that you saw and took over?
It actually, it's funny, it stemmed from a rap song back in high school. And not that it was talking about window cleaning, but I just kind of tweaked it into your favorite window cleaner's favorite window cleaner. And I actually have that on the back of all my business cards too. And then I put it as a hashtag on everything, because you can't argue it. Because like, you might have a favorite window cleaner, but I could be theirs. I probably not, but it's just, you know, one of those funny things. But, you know, I got a lot of personality.
You're my favorite window cleaner, Kyle.
Yeah. Back at you, Michael. It's all love, dude.
So Jacob, this is probably a good question for you, but Melinda Rivera wanted to know if this webinar is going to be available to watch later on YouTube.
It is, yes. So it's streaming there now, and as soon as we wrap up, it's just going to stay on our YouTube channel for posterity, so you can enjoy it for years to come.
Yeah. All right, well.
Yeah. Oh, and I was just also going to say, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube. And we didn't really talk about YouTube very much during this call, but we have a ton of videos there. And Michael also has a bunch of really cool videos too that you should be sure to check out.
Yeah, if you guys haven't already, follow and subscribe to all of us, please. We need it desperately. But seriously, check out these guys' Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts. They are really, really popping. So take some notes. All you new guys who are looking to crush it online, these guys are definitely doing that.
I'll echo what Michael said too. First off, ABC, you guys are incredible. Thanks for having us along for the ride. But second off, anybody, I try to do the same thing. I try to respond really quick and engage. So anybody that hasn't asked a question that's been thinking about it, feel free to hit me up. I answer everybody's questions. I'm always willing to field something out and help brainstorm.
Yeah, and if any of you guys do have a question you think of later and you'd like us to get you in touch with Kyle or Michael, just call our 800 number and we will get you in touch with them. So no worries on that front. All right, well, I think that everybody has probably had all their questions answered at this point. Like I just said, if you have anything else, give us a call. We'll help you out. But thank you, Amy, Jacob, Kyle, and Michael for doing such a great job. I hope our attendees have picked up a few things that they might not have known before, and they can utilize them in their business to be more profitable and just better marketers overall. So with that said, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here. But thanks again for everybody for joining. I think this was a pretty good webinar.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you for
everybody.
having us, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. It was a good time. Thank you.
Take care and happy Friday, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right.